mentally retarded are divided into classifications: the educable, the trainable, and the custodial. Obviously, we can only assess the abilities or potential of the mentally retarded on an individual basis. Seemingly random motions and movements are fairly common among the custodial retarded, and they may take many forms. Sometimes there are motions which seem to have no meaning whatever and may even cause unintentional self-inflicted injuries. The vast majority of the mentally retarded are intelligent enough that they can be taught a great many things. However, there's a wide range of ability even among those considered educable, and their ability to learn obviously varies according to their level of intelligence. Equally important is a stimulating environment. However, we must remember to set realistic standards that are not too high for the individual. Many of the trainable retarded can learn to take certain kinds of household responsibilities, some of which may be more complex than they are usually given credit for. It would be wrong to expect a mentally retarded person to become a master craftsman. The standards are too high. But even in the skilled trades, for example, the mentally retarded can be trained to become valuable assistants. Who are the mentally retarded? They are people. They come in both sexes and in all sizes, shapes, creeds, and colors. Wherever people live, there also live the mentally retarded.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
The press from the White House podium. The only thing that stands between me and getting our message out to the American public is whether the people sitting in those chairs and the folks watching at home feel like they can trust me, feel like the information that I am providing is worthy for them, and that they can trust, obviously, that information. I don't have anything. 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 I just don't have anything. I don't have anything. We don't have anything. I just don't have anything. Don't have anything. So I don't have anything. 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 I just don't have anything. I just don't have anything. I don't have anything. Again, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. Don't have anything. I don't have anything. I just don't have anything. I 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 don't have anything. We don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I just don't have anything. I'm just saying that I just don't have anything. I just don't have anything. One thing that I can say, I don't have anything. 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 I just don't have anything. I don't have anything. Don't have anything. I just don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have.
Well, I guess we can trust that she just doesn't have anything.
She does not have. She's right about that. That's the first time she's been honest.
She doesn't have anything.
She does not have anything going on. Nothing going on. It's crazy. Welcome to the next episode of Unsanctioned America. We are super excited to be here today and have the show. Tom was on vacation. I've been on the campaign trail. We took a couple of weeks off, but now we're back and ready to go. Faster, stronger, better than ever. We are energized and we are ready. We have such great content for you this evening. Just a ton of stuff. I think the two openings were awesome. Right? I mean, that's great. The whole Democrats are just imploding. The entire party of Democrats is imploding. And then you have all the stories that we got tonight. It's just this is groundbreaking stuff, and it's not that we didn't have anything for the last show. We had plenty of show, right? We just didn't have the time. So now we're going to get into the show. And we're going to talk about some of these great stories. I think that, Tom, thank you so much. You did a phenomenal, incredible job putting this show together. I'm having a break. I got shows in, you got to get them out. So let's go through the headlines, and then we'll pray, and then we'll get right into it. So yes, it is confirmed now legally that Hunter Biden is a crackhead and a crazy one. Trump challenges Biden's false ads, more fake news, and from the Biden team. I guess that's the number one thing. That's the number one export from Biden is fake stuff.
That's all they got.
That's all they got. Pelosi acknowledges responsibility and then denies it. Then she realized that was against party platform to accept responsibility. A law professor explains why Trump is not a convicted felon. Bannon is sent to prison. We're going to talk about that. Trump to eliminate taxes on tips. This is huge. When we talk about why Trump is so great, it's because he's got such a pulse on people, what's important to him. And he finds the most easy way that you think is impossible. And then he's like, no, we're going to do it. He doesn't care about the limitations. And
this is him looking out for the middle class.
It's him looking out for the middle class, and people don't think that anybody would ever say something like that or get that accomplished for them, and then Trump comes and he does it right away. I mean, it's incredible. So Trump to eliminate taxes on tips. So the entire service industry, of which is huge here in Florida, just went to Trump. Wild, an elected official, her name is Wild, calls a vet a homophobic bigot. And talk about being the ultimate gaslighter here. The Democrats are the ones who are racist. I've never seen anybody more racist than a liberal elitist. Who's almost always a Democrat, and she's calling a veteran a homophobic bigot. A witness says that he bribed, someone testified that he bribed Menendez with a fancy car. Tito Ortiz, UFC legend, campaigns for Kari Lake in Arizona. You break it, you buy it in Ohio. Some legislation is being proposed there. We got some typos in the headlines there. And then more on this episode of Unsanctioned. We're ready to really have a great show tonight. So let's get down to it. Lord, we are truly grateful to live in this country. Thank you for bringing Tom safely back so that he can produce the show. And for giving us a little bit of time and space so that we can energize and recharge our batteries and then begin again to talk about, to carry our mission of expressing the views of so many frustrated Americans who love this country and love you, and we love our history, and we need to move forward and we need to make this country great again. And for all those people, we are just truly grateful, and we hope that people begin to rise up, stand up, become aware, get involved, get out there, do their civic responsibility, which is mandated by the Bible when it tells us to take dominion over our land, and that's what we're doing. So, Lord, bless the show and bless the people who watch it, and bless our communities and our nation always. And we surrender our lives to you, and we submit to your will. So, in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get into it.
Some news.
Ooh, I'm excited.
All right, John. So, to begin, and this is the big news this week, was Hunter Biden was found guilty on all counts in his gun trial. He was flanked by family members and allies throughout the trial, and I heard that they filled the room, but here's the video on this.
Hunter Biden has been found guilty on all counts in his gun trial, federal trial in Wilmington, Delaware. All right, Leo, your first response.
My first response is I go back to the Harris Faulkner Leo Terrell segment about 6 months ago. When you asked me that question, is there any way that plea deal could be stopped? I said the judge. The judge played a major role in the rule of law by saying, I'm not going to agree to this plea deal, had questions, and that's why we're here today. The American public needs to know that. That is the rule of law, and I applaud the judge. That she did an outstanding job in following the rule of law.
I'm not too excited about this, John. And, we've avoided this on the show on multiple occasions. There was lots of talk about this trial. We avoided it on purpose because, really nothing was happening here. It is on the gun charge, basically. It's not anything else, And Vivek had some words that I agree with 100% on this, so I'll play that real quick.
So Hunter Biden was convicted. Big freaking deal.
Where is it?
This trial was a sham. Just like the Trump trial, it was a sham, but a sham for different reasons. It's a sham designed to legitimize the Trump conviction. That's why it came right after, even for charges that date way far back. But it also avoids accountability for the Biden crime family on the actual things that Hunter Biden should have been charged
This is a
for.
big distraction.
Like, for example, peddling.
Right, and it's going to take away from what we know is the real lawsuit going on, the lawfare that's going on against Trump.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do like, oh, well, we're going to take Trump, but then we're going to give you Biden. No, that's not good enough. Those are two different things. A guy who has a lifetime of crack abuse, right? His entire existence is based, his body, his molecular makeup is now more crack than flesh. And that's not a trade for Trump, a guy who's serving and sacrificing for our country. That's not a fair trade. It's like giving a pawn for, a rook. It's not a fair trade, and we're not going to accept it. And conservatives are not going to accept that. They're not going to believe that justice is fair because you put a crackhead in jail. It'll be fair when you stop politically prosecuting the former president. That's what would be fair.
And that's basically what Vivek said. He said, this is a smokescreen. Don't get excited or happy about this. This is to try and legitimize what happened to President Trump, which was not legitimate. We all know that. Don't get excited about this. We talked about it because there's finally an outcome to this. Yeah. So we might as well,
And he's not going to get any jail time.
No.
That's how we'll know, right? Because if this was anybody else, they would have gotten some jail time, or they would have gotten some severe punishment for this. I mean, the federal government, the liberal, the Democrats in control of the federal government, if this had been a Republican, they would throw this guy away. They would put him in Guantanamo Bay. Right? And then they would leave him in there for 50 years for doing something like this. But it's Hunter Biden, so what's going to happen? He's going to get probation or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
When that's not justice.
No, it's not. It's not. It's bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically. All right, so moving on from there.
So the video didn't work?
Play it. Hold on.
Hunter Biden was convicted. Big freaking deal. This trial was a sham. Just like the Trump trial, it was a sham, but a sham for a different reason. It's a sham designed to legitimize the Trump conviction. That's why it came right after, even for charges that date way far back. But it also avoids accountability. Hunter Biden was convicted. Big freaking deal. This trial was a sham. Just like the Trump trial, it was a sham, but a sham for a different reason. It's a sham designed to legitimize the Trump conviction. That's why it came right after, even for charges that date way far back. But it also avoids accountability for the Biden crime family on the actual things that Hunter Biden should have been charged for.
Yes.
Like, for example, peddling foreign influence while his actual father, Joe Biden, was the vice president of the United States. Hunter had no business serving on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, a state-affiliated energy company that's affiliated with the same country, Ukraine, that his father, now as the U.S. president, is sending hundreds of billions of dollars of your taxpayer money to. That's where the real crimes lie. So this deflects accountability for the actual investigations that are more close to implicating Joe Biden, while coming in convenient timing right after the sham Trump conviction in the veil of bipartisanship. Don't buy it. I said this before, I'll say it again. This is a smoke screen, and the reality is you got to cut through it to get to the essence of what's happening in this country.
Yep.
Man, I love Vivek, man. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I don't think anybody could have said it any better than that. That's what makes it a shame. It's not that he's going to jail. It's the fact that he is basically a distraction from the real crimes that are going on, especially with the Biden family. I mean, they're the ones that are really. Until Joe Biden himself is going through a trial himself for the crimes that he actually committed, then I don't think anybody's going to be satisfied with Hunter Biden getting parole.
No.
Probation.
Don't be satisfied about this gun charge. The real crimes are on that laptop. Never forget that. All right, John. So this hoax is back again. President Trump is now demanding that President Biden remove the ad of him calling dead soldiers suckers and losers, or at least purporting that he said this. I don't know if you've seen this ad. Here it is.
I have not seen the ad.
This is it. It starts off quiet, so.
Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers.
Filled with losers.
It's filled with losers.
This was a cemetery that Donald Trump didn't want to go to because it was pouring rain that day.
The contrast couldn't be any more stark.
We have a president who went to Ukraine through a combat zone. We have another presidential candidate who couldn't get his hair wet.
A good commander-in-chief is somebody who gives a shit.
All right,
This is the stupidest thing ever. This is the most offensive thing ever. First of all, I've said it many times, I was in the 173rd Airborne Brigade. I went to Afghanistan twice. I had a lot of friends sacrifice their lives for this nation, more than 20, who I was friends with. One of my friends died and I found out while I was reading a magazine that I borrowed from him in Afghanistan in my little car. And the idea that they're going to use this as a political thing is just so offensive. I think more veterans... Now, these veterans here that you see in this ad, these are devoted Democrats. They care more about the Democratic Party than they care about their country.
Absolutely.
Because there's no veteran who loves his country who would even remotely use the death of a veteran or use the death of one of their brothers for political purposes. I don't. You never hear me say, you know what, my friend so-and-so who sacrificed his life on the battlefield would have wanted Trump to win. I would never say that.
No.
Never would I say that. And never would a man who loves his country or who loves his brotherhood, those are all those guys, all these Democrat veterans who are out there using this thing that they're doing. They love their party more than they love their country, and that's what's wrong with this country. Is it the fact that there's people that love a party more than their country? Republican and Democrat, I don't care. The fact is that I love this country more than I love either of the parties, even the party that I belong to. I would never, and I love my brothers more than I love the party, especially the ones that sacrifice their lives for this nation. And they're dishonored by this ad. And Biden should suffer a consequence for this.
Well,
and so should those vets. I mean, but they are.
Yeah. President Trump wasn't happy about it either, John. This is what he had to say about it.
And he makes up stories. He said something about me that I stood over the graves of soldiers. Nobody loves the military more than me. Nobody. Nobody respects it. And nobody's treated it better. Nobody's done as much for the military as I have. But he said I stood over graves of soldiers, and I said, these people are suckers and losers. Think dead soldiers from World War I. I said this was a made-up deal from a magazine that's failing, Financial Disaster, by a guy that is a horrible radical left lunatic named Goldberg. They made up a story that I said this, and they put it out, and it's been going around for 3 years. And it's just like Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 51 intelligence agents, that phony story, remember? The laptop is from Russia, they said. And they should be prosecuted for what they did. Okay, they should be prosecuted. Let's see what happens. But can you imagine? And now they took an ad using, they know it's phony, they know it's false, and now they took an ad using it. These are sick people, and I hope the military revolts at the voting booth and just says, we're not going to take it. They can say anything. They're a party of misinformation, disinformation, cheating on elections, open borders, high interest rates, and high taxes. That's all. And you can't get elected like that. So they make up stories, disinformation, a story like that. Think of it from a practical standpoint. I'm standing there with generals and military people in a cemetery, and I look at them, I say, these people are suckers and losers. Now, think of it. Unless you're a psycho or a crazy person or a very stupid person, who would say that anyway? But who would say it to military people, with military? Because as President of the United States, I would say if I made that statement, if I have generals here, I would imagine that most of them would end up in a major fist fight with the president, okay? And you know what? I would have said it was okay in that one instance. They made up a story. They just, out of thin air, just like a lot of the fake stories are made up by these people, because they're among the most dishonest people in the country, the fake news. They're dishonest people. So they made up this story, and they go with it like I said it. And you know what? Some people believe it because they believe it. You know, they hear it from these people. They believe it. It's a shame. It's a shame you can get away with it. But we have to talk. If we don't talk about it, this happened 3 years ago. And my geniuses said, oh, sir, don't mention it because nobody believes it. But it just never goes away. I got to mention it. I don't like mentioning it. But for me to say suckers and losers about people that died in World War I in front of military people, it's not a possibility you could say a thing like that. So it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. No, and it sure is, John. And this has been going on since 2020. It wasn't true then. It's not true now, but it's not beneath the Bidens. You know, this is the reality of the story is a White House email from a U.S. Marine Corps official proves that bad weather call was the reason President Trump's canceled visit to that cemetery in 2018. Further evidence refuting Biden's claim includes U.S. Navy records obtained via a Freedom of Information Act request, and even John Bolton's book. And we all know John Bolton is no fan of the president.
He admitted that this did not happen.
Yeah.
He admitted that this did not John Bolton. I remember that, and it's just this is a real dirty. This is about as dirty as you can get. Now remember all the other lies that they said. They literally accused him of being urinated on in a hotel in Russia. That never happened. That would never happen. That was the figment of someone's imagination. So all these super heavy attacks on the president that make people think, oh, I don't like, ooh, I can't believe he said that. They're lies. They're lies. The guy has been the #1 supporter. Let me tell you, to be personal, the VA. Okay, people have good stories and they have bad stories about the VA, but my experience has been horrendous. It's horrendous. And I'll tell you one other thing that makes it horrendous is the fact that Darren Soto's out there, our congressman out there, promoting this BS at the VA, and we have a gay pride flag hanging from the VA instead of the American flag. They took the American at the VA. At the VA, they took the American flag down and they put the pride flag up. Right? So what does that say? When I went to the VA, you think that's honoring to me? That's not honoring to me. That's not honoring to me. I don't know. I do not know a single veteran who is happy about the VA or how the VA treats people. You hear stories, they're good, they treat me good. It's people who don't need any services. Yeah. Because when you go there and you need something, this is what turns everybody against the VA. They tell you no. But when Trump was president, I tell you what, you walked in there, you had a lot of confidence that they were going to take care of you. And that meant the world to veterans. And that was a real story. That's not some fake BS that's made up out of thin air.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were wondering what magazine President Trump was referring to that originally published this story about the suckers and losers, it was first reported in the Atlantic, John.
Oh, God, no wonder.
They quoted a senior Defense Department official with first-hand knowledge of events and a senior U.S. Marine Corps officer who was told about Trump's comments confirmed these remarks to the Associated Press, including the 2018 cemetery comments. So these were anonymous sources.
But you have John Bolton who hates him. Right? He hates Trump. He likes to be the biggest mustache in the room, and he's not when Trump is around. And so what happens? He got mad at Trump. He hates Trump. And he acknowledged that did not happen. He's not going to lie either. At least Bolton has a little bit of a heart.
Yeah. So don't read The Atlantic. Don't go to their website. Don't support them. Yeah, I don't think so either. So the GOP released the January 6th clip of Nancy Pelosi saying, "I take responsibility," as she discussed the National Guard absence at January 6th.
This is crazy. Before you play it, we have the video for you. Before you play that video, remember the amount of discussion and the back and forth about whether or not the National Guard should have been there, what happened, and Trump was saying, hey, I was telling you to get the Guard. I was telling you to get the Guard involved, right? And nobody ever took action. The people in control of the security of Washington, D.C. is the Speaker of the House. Because that is not a state, right? So the people who have control over Washington, D.C. is Congress. Congress, the House of Representatives, has control over D.C. And so that was Pelosi's, the only place that she's in charge of. The only place that she's actually in charge of was D.C. So if anybody should have been convicted of a crime for guarding January 6th, it should have been Nancy Pelosi. But let's watch the video and see how she accepts responsibility herself for what happened.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they have. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Boom.
Now,
here's the funny thing about. First of all, how much did Nancy drink before that car ride? For the love of Christ, this woman sounds drunk. Is there any moment where she doesn't sound like she's absolutely like on a fifth of vodka?
She sounds totally loaded.
She sounds totally loaded. She sounds like me in college. I mean, I've never seen somebody slur like that so often and be responsible for DC. But it does explain it. At the time, she was out of her mind. On an alcoholic beverage, it sounds like. Now, or she's like, I mean, she sounds like Biden.
Yeah,
there's a lot of similarities.
Well, she is very old, so.
I think she's more drunk than aged. I mean, she's pickled. I think Nancy's pickled at this point. But she accepts responsibility now. When obviously it was released, right? I don't know who was reporting that. I can't wait to find out who was reporting that. But anyways, now let's hear her response to her own admission of responsibility for January 6th.
The President of the United States, the former president, and his toadies do not want to face the facts. They're trying to do revisionist history on January 6th. But we cannot let us be dragged into their, again, false impression of what happened that day. They know what happened that day. The fact is that...
What? What? Does that even make sense? She didn't even address the fact that she made those comments. She could have said, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about something completely different. I was talking about January 6, 1876 when I had my first drink. That's what it meant, right? Like she should have said, I meant when I was first elected in 1951. I mean, she could have said anything, but instead she's just rambling on.
Well, she was in her safe space at MSNBC, and she felt comfortable with trying to spin this into something completely different. And,
I would bring up some charges against Nancy Pelosi.
She's not going to go to a place that's going to actually call her out on this and hold her feet to the fire. Of course. So, a Yale law professor, John, is saying that Trump isn't a convicted felon despite the guilty verdict. And here's why. There's President Trump when he was at that sham trial. In a newly created podcast titled Straight Down the Middle, Yale law professor Jed Rubenfeld took a look at what legal options Trump's defense team have been left with following the jury's verdict, as well as the appeal process that is slated to soon take place. That's going to be very interesting. Despite media reports, Rubenfeld insisted that it's not true that Trump is already a convicted felon, arguing that one is not a convicted felon because of a jury verdict. You are not convicted until the judge enters that judgment of guilt. Now, in New York, it's very likely that Judge Merchan will enter that judgment of guilt against Trump on the same day that he issues sentencing. That would be July 11th. Rubenfeld insisted there's one other avenue Trump's attorneys could take in combating the conviction: to sue in federal court and ask for an emergency temporary restraining order.
Oh man, that's a great.
Yeah,
she should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the thing: I don't care if he's a felon. To be honest, it makes no difference to me because I felt the minute that they charged him, I felt like they're going to try to convict. They're going to do something, and you got to know the specifics. This is going to come out. This is going to be national news in the near future, where we're going to talk about this forever. Number one, you don't have, instead of, you know how when you get convicted of a crime and you have a jury of your peers that are the ones that are doing the fact finding for you, it has to be unanimous, right? If one person says no, then you're not convicted, right? Well, this judge didn't make it change that, so that only 4 people had to agree on a crime. 4 people had to agree on another crime, and then 4 people had to agree on another crime, and you could conglomerate those findings into one conviction of everything. And that's just, that doesn't make sense to me as somebody who went to law school. I'm not a lawyer, but that does not make any sense to me whatsoever. To me, I think that this is going to be appealed. It's probably going to go to the Supreme Court because New York is just a hellhole. But it's like a comic book court system there, where you just there's no judge. It's Gotham City, right? So you're just not going to find justice there of any credibility. So I think it's going to end up going to the Supreme Court, and he's going to be exonerated of this, and then he's going to be president when it happens.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. You know, they started with Alex Jones.
Yep.
Now they're going after another Trump voice out there, Steve Bannon, John. Judge orders Donald Trump's former strategist, Steve Bannon, to prison after losing contempt appeal. If you don't know Steve Bannon, there he is. He is the host of the War Room. Steve Bannon must report to prison July 1st to serve a 4-month sentence for flouting a subpoena from the House Select Committee that investigated the January 6th Capitol riot. This judge ruled last Thursday. The order would put Bannon, 70, behind bars while his ex-boss learns his own sentence on July 11th in the Manhattan hush money case, which also could include prison time just 4 days ahead of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Trump, 77, and his allies have alleged that Democrats are weaponizing the U.S. legal system to help President Biden's struggling re-election campaign, and that is a fact, John. That is exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Talk about a miscarriage of justice. It starts with these guys. This is an experiment. Everything that we see going on in our courts right now is an experiment. And the experiment is, can we get away with using the justice system to enforce our political views? That's what this experiment is about for the Democrats. And if it proves successful, then what's going to happen is every single conservative is going to get attacked by the federal government or the state government or wherever there's a Democrat in control. It doesn't matter if it's a city council or if it's a liberal police chief or it's a liberal state attorney. We've already seen that with all these. What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name who gets all the state attorneys in, the liberal state attorneys? The bad guy.
Soros.
All these Soros-funded state attorneys. This is going to happen. This is happening. They've seen it in other countries, and it's nothing new, right? We've already seen it happen in other countries, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to come. They're going to start. They're going to use the government to attack you. We've even seen it here in Silicon County.
Yeah.
When they don't like something, they use the government to go attack, and they prevent it. We just saw it with some stuff. We'll talk about it on the Florida show, but this is really bad. Yeah. And if we don't fight back, if the people don't make them pay for this gross abuse of the justice system, then we're not going to have a justice system to go to anymore.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, John. So some good news, John, and this came out of Trump's rally in Las Vegas. Trump pledges to eliminate taxes on tips for service workers during this rally. And if you don't believe us, here's President Trump.
This time, I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy, because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips. We're not going to do it. And we're going to do that right away, first thing in office, because it's been a point of contention for years and years and years. And you do a great job of service. You take care of people. And I think it's going to be something that really is deserved. More importantly, popular or unpopular. I do some unpopular things, too, if it's right for the country. I do what's right. But so those people that have jobs in restaurants, whatever the job may be, a tipping job, we're not going after for taxes anymore. This will be ended.
And they interviewed, a local Las Vegas reporter interviewed several people at the restaurants and hotels and on the Strip and asked them if this would change their vote. And 6 out of 7 said absolutely yes. This would change.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. The service worker people don't mess around about their money, right? I mean, these are people that people who are in the service industry who work on tips are grinding it out.
Yeah.
Right? You go on a daily basis and you grind it out, and every penny matters. The tip difference between $8 and $12. In their mind, they're constantly calculating. I need to make this. I need to make this. This is what I'm doing. And I know my kids are in the service industry, right? Everybody's like in college, you're going through the service industry, and to me, it's a great business experience. It teaches you how to be a CEO and manage things and care about those details, right? But anyways, these service workers in Central Florida, at least, that's a gigantic industry. That's not a joke. That's a gigantic industry. And the fact that they're going to take taxes away, because right now you have to calculate, you have to make something up, you gotta, you go in there and you gotta guesstimate what you did, or you have to keep super good track, and you just remove that equation. And what a great idea it is, not only because it's just economically for them, but also he doesn't care about removing taxes from the government. He doesn't care about making the government work with less. And that's what he's doing, and that's what's great about it, is that the government is the victim of Donald Trump, not the people. And that's the difference between him and Biden. Biden, the people are the victims of the government. Right? They're the victims of the IRS, they're the victims of police, they're the victims of weaponized government, they're the victims of taxes, they're the victims of the grocery store, they're the victims of the gas companies, they're the victims of the utility companies. We're all victims. We're being brutalized. You have to earn $12,000 or more per person to catch up economically to what the impacts of the Biden policies have created for the citizens. I didn't get a $12,000 raise a year. I don't know. Did you get a $12,000 raise? I mean, no. So nobody got that just because Biden was elected. So now you have Trump, and Trump victimizes the government. And I think that's what people like about Trump too. It's just that he victimizes the. Oh, what? You're gonna harass me? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut the heads of the FBI off. Well, we're happy with that. We're gonna shut down the government. We're happy with that. We're gonna give you back your tax money. The government's trying to take your tax money, make them less powerful. We're happy about that. Right? He's going to get these border, instead of border control guys working for the IRS to go arrest people who didn't pay their taxes, he's got them on the border actually deporting people and preventing people from crossing the border. Yeah. And that's the biggest issue. I'll tell you what, I'm a Hispanic guy, everybody knows this already, right? But I'm just as pissed off as anybody else. I go to McDonald's and nobody speaks English. The happy end. I had a meeting here, I had a cup of coffee, I bought somebody a cup of coffee. Right, go to McDonald's, they don't speak English. The guy that's with them doesn't speak Spanish. And I'm like, what? How can there not be anybody who speaks English here? And I'm waiting 15 minutes for a cup of coffee order. And then I go to Home Depot to pick up some wood so I can put up some signs. And what happens? I talk to a guy, hey, where can I get this? I don't know, I only take out the trash. But he doesn't speak English. So now Home Depot, in my mind, I'm thinking, are these all illegal aliens that are getting these jobs? So my kid who's a teenager, right, can't get a job because these kids, or these adults, right? These 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds are working these low minimum wage jobs. I mean, and they're all illegal aliens. We want those problems resolved, and Biden's not doing it, but Trump will. And so right now, you're being victimized by the fact that we have illegal aliens just flooding into our country. And that's a big problem to Americans that they're not addressing. And Kamala Harris, I don't know, she's the czar, right? She's the border czar. Nobody knows where the hell she's at.
So it's just the title. She doesn't do anything.
She doesn't do anything. She doesn't do anything at all. I mean, even the policies just came down to 2,500. They're going to slow it down to 2,500 people crossing illegally. Why would the United States say we're going to allow 2,500 people to cross illegally every day?
It's stupid.
It's stupid. They should be sued themselves. So these are big problems, and I think what we want to see is Trump start victimizing the government because that would be justice for the American people.
Absolutely. Service workers, you are hustlers for your money. You hustle and you try and take the best possible care of your customers so that you can make the best possible tip. And a vote for Trump now means you'll get to keep 100% of that.
I have to report that. That's a phenomenal idea. And why isn't everybody thinking about stuff like that?
Yeah. Good question. All right, so before we go across the nation, John, we have this important message from President Trump.
Take Trump out tonight.
We were in high school. I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
The RNC headquarters had to go into lockdown. Just a while earlier this morning, there was a suspicious package delivered.
Suspicious package found near the Republican National Committee headquarters contained 2 vials of blood.
Hey, want to know one?
They're angry people. They are so angry people.
The Biden administration authorizing the use of deadly force during the FBI's raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in August of 2022.
We are alive.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundation of our republic. About the power we have in our own hands to meet these threats.
So we're back, and we're going to go across the nation pretty quick, John. We did spend a lot of time in the news. So this representative, Pennsylvania Representative Susan Wild, she has a history of disparaging constituents, and just recently she branded a veteran a homophobic bigot If you can believe that.
Yeah,
This is her right here. That's her with the hard hat. I bet you she's never worked in a job where you would wear a hard hat. But anyway, Representative Susan Wild has locked her personal Facebook account after slandering a veteran she apparently met at a Memorial Day event as homophobic, marking at least the third time the vulnerable Pennsylvania Democrat has disparaged her constituents in recent years. The latest drama unfolded last week when Wild, up for re-election in November, left this comment on a Facebook friend's photo featuring a small house flying both American and LGBTQ pride flags. I suspect that the vet who refused to shake my hand today at a Memorial Day event would not approve of your second flag. She has been subjected to plenty of previous criticism for bad-mouthing voters in her district, which the Cook Political Report rates a toss-up. While the House Ethics Committee ranking member appeared to question the intelligence of Carbon County voters in 2022 by saying she needed to school them on their strong support for former President Donald Trump. The lawyer doubled down on this sentiment this year, saying in a January Zoom call that she was dismayed when Carbon County became part of her district because its residents had drunk the Trump Kool-Aid. Wild is running for her fourth term against Republican Ryan McKenzie, and all I can say is vote for Ryan McKenzie.
This is just crazy. This is crazy. I mean, this is the fact that she's in a toss-up. This is somebody who's mentally unstable, right? I don't think she does that out of conviction. Because you're not fighting with people who are crazy. Some veteran didn't want to shake her hand or whatever. All this just silliness, just straight up silliness. This is, and you gotta have respect for your constituents. Even me, when somebody gets into a fight with me, I'll say whatever I want, but I say it from an authentic place, and I know that there's electoral consequences to it, right? Like I know, okay, nobody's gonna say John Arguello, he's the most warmest and fuzziest guy. No, you're gonna say, why would I vote for Arguello? Because he's gonna fight for me. Right? But he's also going to fight with me on Facebook. If I talk crap to him, he's going to talk crap to me, type of thing, But that's the relationship that I have with people. It's very common. This is somebody who thinks that they're better than the people. And that's a gigantic difference. You can't, if you think that you're better than somebody else and that's why you disparage them, that's one thing. That's how the politicians in Osceola County work. But if you are disparaging someone because you are familiar with them and you're with them, you're on the same level as they are, well, I mean, sometimes I can appreciate that. And that's just not the case with this person. This person is she's pretty conceited that she's better than everybody else, and she's going to treat people this way instead of serving them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're in a toss-up and you're getting all the information, you're seeing all the polls, you know where you stand with the voters, why would you continue to put the voters down?
For not agreeing with you,
any
right?
sense whatsoever. Do you really want to win? I mean, come on.
Well, hopefully she doesn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't win either.
Hopefully we don't. Somebody we hope never comes back again is Gold Bar Bob Menendez. This New Jersey businessman testified that he bribed Bob Menendez with a Mercedes Benz. John, this is the guy. That's the businessman. He testified that he bribed Bob Menendez, telling jurors in the Garden State Democrats' federal corruption trial that he provided the lawmaker's wife with a Mercedes Benz to shut down a criminal probe. She agreed to the terms, Jose Uribe told the federal district court in Manhattan, of Nadine Menendez's reaction to his March 2019 offer to buy her a $60,000 luxury convertible if she could get her 70-year-old senator husband to scuttle an investigation into two of his associates by the state attorney general's office.
Yeah, this is straight up Soprano stuff, right? That's straight up Soprano stuff. And people, I love that people think that politicians are better than this. Yeah. Politicians are not better. Not the local yokels either. Look at the local yokels. You think that they're not getting anything? When they're getting, like $25,000 donated to their PAC by a local company, you don't think, and that local company is building all the roads throughout the county, you don't think that that's related? You don't think that that's related at all? You don't think that there might be something else besides just the $25,000 PAC contribution? There's stuff involved. You think that these guys just go, they decide that they're going to destroy their city? Say Cloud City Councilman. You think that they're willing to go destroy their city for free? No, they wouldn't even do that. Now, they might destroy it by accident because they're not the brightest bulbs But nonetheless, they're not getting it for free. They're destroying the city for something. There's a reason behind it. And it's not ideology. They don't have any ideology. They can talk all they want about being great people. But the fact is that there's something going on. There's people that are benefiting. Those people have been clearly identified now. Go look at the financial reports for all these politicians, and you'll see who's benefiting. Right? And you think that there's not cash being exchanged? Of course there is. Not a Mercedes. These guys are not classy enough. But maybe something else. Maybe a pickup truck. You know? I'm just saying that there's an exchange. There is an exchange. There's absolutely an exchange. We just haven't been able to find it yet so that we can publicize and show it. And believe me, after the elections, I think there's going to be a lot of things that come out into the open because it needs to. It absolutely needs to happen. And we need to discover what's going on. And we're going to be doing some deep dives after the election.
Yeah,
so
definitely. We're keeping an eye on that.
Yep.
So, I don't know if you saw this, John, but UFC legend Tito Ortiz was campaigning with Kari Lake out in Arizona, and obviously they're going after the Hispanic vote. There he is, Tito. He was out there on Wednesday night campaigning with Kari Lake. The Latinos for Lake event in the Phoenix area's West Valley was aimed at courting an increasingly crucial voting bloc in Arizona and nationwide. Most of us couldn't go around with Tito Ortiz, but most of us could go around in the fight to save this country, Lake said, after supporters in a packed boxing gym after she entered to the Rocky theme song Gonna Fly Now, like a fighter making her way to the ring. And she's absolutely a fighter, John.
Yeah, I like her a lot. I liked her for VP pick. She had no interest in doing that, actually. She wanted to serve as a senator for Arizona and protect Arizona. And that says a lot. This is not about her ego. This is not about her gaining anything. She's really fighting for her community, and I really like that about her. I mean, it's cool. Here's the thing. All these celebrities, pseudo-celebrities, all these athletes, all these people, there's a lot of people that are turning. Right? There's a lot of people. I saw a video recently of some music artist that was, they were saying,
Rose, right?
Yes, I think that's exactly right. They were asking her, why are you switching to Trump? And she's like, because we're waking up. Yeah, they are. Everybody is. You know what? The entire country is suffering, and we're suffering at the hands of a man who we all recognize is not able to control the country or lead the country. So it's his handlers. But his handlers were not elected, and we don't know exactly who they are, and we don't trust them. And we already declared loud and clear that we do not want Hillary as president. I think that nobody wants Barack Obama as president anymore. And we have all these people that are arguing about who's president behind the scenes because we all know Joe Biden's not it.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not Kamala Harris. She might be worse than him. There's a lot to learn from this. People need to just hurry up and get on board with saving our country.
Absolutely. And I think Kari Lake has shown her dedication to the people of Arizona. We all know that she was offered something more.
Yeah.
In that secret phone call that was made where she was bribed by some Republican official in Washington. That was out there for all to see. We reported on it on the show. And, she's totally dedicated to those people, and I hope they reward her with this position. So over in Ohio, John, a lawmaker is proposing a bill to make rioters pay for their property destruction. You break it, you fix it. And this is directly at the Palestinian protesters that are out there, and they're destroying things right now. In the wake of these recent protests on college and university campuses in Ohio and nationwide, an Ohio senator wants to make rioters pay for property damages while breaking the law. Senate Bill 267, which is awaiting a committee assignment, would also stop government officials from interfering with law enforcement officers during a riot. This legislation is pretty cut and dry. You break it, you fix it, said Senator Tim Schafer. He's a Republican out of Lancaster. Over the past several years, we have seen how violence has taken a toll on communities and the damage riots and violent protests have caused. We need to hold accountable those who act to harm or damage property and ensure that they are the ones paying for these actions, not the local taxpayers and not the businesses. The bill also includes language that prohibits any government official from limiting or restricting the authority of officers to take action to quell, arrest, or detain individuals involved in a riot or vandalism. Effective law enforcement is a hallmark of a modern and civilized society, Schaefer said.
You know, I mean, part of me wants to celebrate this. It's a great idea, but at the same time, why in the hell is this not already in effect? How do we allow people to go riot in the streets and burn buildings down and not pay for it? There's already laws on the books that force people to pay restitution for these types of damages for vandalism and stuff, and why is it anything other than that? I mean, it should be. Here's the thing. If you have student loans, right, the government comes and pays them off for you. Right? But if you go and you set a building on fire, this doesn't even show up on your credit report. Right? I mean, it's crazy, and you don't get convicted of it. So how could it even be that you would not have to pay restitution for this type of stuff? So the minute that they catch you doing anything at all, it should be like a judgment that you cannot get rid of for 20 years, and it should follow you for your whole life. You know, that's the price. You can protest all you want, but the minute that you set somebody's car on fire, you throw a brick through somebody's window or whatever, the minute they catch you doing something like that, boom, it should be your financial obligation to set things right.
You know, the crazy thing about this, John, is these are already laws that are in place. They're just not being enforced. And it's sad that a senator has to go ahead and propose special legislation to make sure that these laws are enforced. It's outrageous.
It is outrageous. It is. So I mean, this should pass. There should be this is just clear. This is not a federal issue. I was going to say it should be even a federal, but it's not a federal issue. This is a state issue. Yeah. And the problem is when it becomes a federal issue, because a state like California will allow you to burn the whole city down, and then they'll what? They'll go to the federal government, and then they'll ask taxpayers in Florida to pay for the disaster that is California. So I mean, every state should be. We should not be passing money from Florida to California to resolve the problems of California. So if California doesn't want to pass a law like this, Ohio does, and Florida should already be forced to pay restitution for the damages they cause.
Absolutely. All right, John, so that's the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate you sticking with us, watching the show. Please like and share the show. We're ready. Stay tuned. We're going to do a phenomenal election-heavy Florida show probably tomorrow, right? Yeah. So this show is going to be jam-packed with who got elected, who qualified, how much money people raised, all kinds of interesting facts, and then of course statewide news. So stick with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. God bless you. On behalf of School Board Member John Arguello and my great friend Citizen Tom Ward, have a great night.